What's going on YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. We have a ton of news to talk about today regarding Verdansk's return to Warzone, which is slated for next week. Because Call of Duty just dropped a ton of information and news regarding its return. And all of it sounds really good. But I want to caution people here. While everything sounds good, we have to wait and see how it plays. I can still be excited for it, and you can too. But sometimes that excitement has not been rewarded with this franchise. And I just want to heed that warning before we go through some of this news. Because even though it sounds great, we know Call of Duty's track record. They love to make things sound great and then not deliver. Hopefully, this is the exception. Hopefully this time, Call of Duty has learned from their mistakes and will deliver something great to the community. So here's hoping. Anyways, let's dive into all this news regarding Verdansk's return, as there is a lot to talk about. First and foremost, Black Ops 6 Season 3 is now launching on April 2nd instead of April 3rd. However, Warzone will be offline for 24 hours straight starting April 2nd and go live again on April 3rd. During the downtime, if you log into Warzone, you will be granted a weapon for free. Yeah, you'll get the Kilo 141, which is a weapon from the original Warzone returning for Verdansk. We're also going to see the return of original Verdansk contracts. These classic recon contracts are going to be replacing intel contracts. The original helicopter is also back with the return of Verdansk. And one of the biggest notes that I think we have to highlight here, no redeploy balloons will be available on Verdansk. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been a point I've been talking about for a while now. Warzone, for whatever reason, has been feeling more and more like a large map TDM, and it needs to move away from that and feel more like a battle royale. Getting rid of redeployment balloons is one way of making it feel more like a battle royale once again. Some quality of life updates for Warzone. Weapon Inspect will now show the attachments. Default loadouts will be updated to be more competitive with the HDR and Kilo. Buy station updates will now have a vertical UI and dedicated button for squad buybacks. It blows my mind that they moved away from a vertical UI in the first place, but nice to see them returning. It just sounds like Verdansk is bringing back what Warzone used to be, which is great. Now, one disappointing point to this is that ranked play for Verdansk will come with Season 3 Reloaded, so you're going to have to wait a full month to play Verdansk on ranked, if that's one of the things you like to do. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about is one of the most interesting takeaways I have from all of this information. Verdansk in Warzone will feature an updated movement that's unique to Warzone. It still has Omni movement, but it has been fine-tuned just for Warzone, closer to the original experience in terms of pacing and gameplay feel. A lot of the questions surrounding Verdansk's return was how it was going to play with the Omni movement system, because the Omni movement system is a lot faster than what was present when Verdansk originally released with MW 2019. This hopefully creates a nice middle ground between the two movements. I'm hoping for that. Because what we've seen a lot in Warzone, if you've seen the TikTok clips or any of the YouTube videos, is it's very fast-paced, a little chaotic, and very much all over the place. Hopefully, this updated movement will streamline that and make it feel more grounded. That's what we've been looking for in Warzone, and hopefully they've delivered that. And this also makes me feel like this is Warzone trying to differentiate itself from multiplayer's specific mechanics. This is a nice touch. This is a good update. And honestly, I really hope it plays well as a result. Now, I did mention earlier that Verdansk's return to Warzone was them rediscovering their roots, returning back to what made Warzone great. And this is a perfect example. Returning for Verdansk in Warzone, 150 player lobbies, original announcer, shoot while free-falling, infill and exfil cinematic. And of course, the original gulag is coming back. All of this in an attempt to recapture that original experience that Warzone once had. I think it's a great idea, But again, I want to see what they do with this, because it all sounds good on paper. It all looks like they're returning to form, returning to the formula that worked in 2020. But how do we differentiate that formula? How do we expand on it? How do we innovate from it? Because the past innovations didn't work. I'm curious to see what they do. This cannot be a complete retread of what they did in 2020. They need to expand on it a little bit more. To lead off that a little bit, they are going to add the ability to swim in Verdansk, something that was not available back in 2020. So that's a nice touch. It's a small little addition, but again, I think it's going to improve the quality of life of the gameplay overall. Now, a couple last notes to just touch on. There will be a Return to Verdansk event starting on April 3rd. No surprise here. I just really hope the event is a little bit more outside of the box than just come back to Verdansk, get a few kills, earn these rewards, right? The events in Black Ops 6 and Warzone this year as a whole have been super underwhelming. So I'm really hoping they think a little bit outside the box, do something a little bit different, and at least make this one feel somewhat worthwhile, especially considering the fact that it's kind of a big deal that you're bringing back the original Warzone map. One last note I do want to touch on here, and it may be the most controversial one. I think most of us can agree. What they're bringing into Verdansk's return for Warzone is pretty good. A lot of it is just what they had back in 2020. And it's a shame that they moved so far away from what was working back then to a formula now, or a product now that frankly is a shell of its former self. So the fact that they're returning back to what worked is great. Too bad that it took a return of an original map for that to happen, but I digress. Season 3 of Warzone will feature a new mode, Battle Royale Casual. This mode will feature 28 players and up to 120 bots for players who just want to explore the map and practice. And of course, this has already caused some controversy around the community. Some people believing this is just going to be a clip farm for TikTokers and content creators, and other people believing it's just another way to hide the fact that there's a bunch of cheaters in the game. So please go to this mode if you want to have a little bit more fun. And perhaps it's an escape from the SBMM system. Maybe you can utilize this new mode as a means to just play a little bit more casually, play with a wide variety of friends instead of playing within the punishing SBMM system. We don't really know much more than just this original release, so it's one of those things that I'm very curious to see how it works and how it's implemented. Who knows? But I get the skepticism. I get the concern over them putting bots into this mode, and maybe we'll see bots in multiplayer as well moving forward. Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if they're already there, to be honest. We've talked about that before, though. So that's really the roundup of the news, right? We know that the Kilo's coming back. We know the Grau's coming back. We know the HDR is coming back. All of these things are bringing Warzone back to what it was like in 2020. Now, the question is, well, all of this sounds good. Is Call of Duty actually going to deliver? Or is it all just going to be good on paper and in execution be poorly done? We'll have to find out next week. I know that I'll be very interested to see how this goes. I'll be playing a little bit myself, and I'm honestly just hoping that they don't screw this up. Please, honestly, the Warzone community needs a win. It's been a while since they've had one, so they need one here. Now, of course, we still have multiplayer to talk about when it comes to Season 3, but that's going to be released later today, and I'll talk about it again in tomorrow's video, like I said earlier. So I'm very curious to know your thoughts on everything we discussed today. What is a highlight for you? What is a low light? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in that comment section. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.